everybody, I'm Philip, and today I'm going to start a brand new series. I just finished up Marvel What If, and I said when that was done I would start this. I was going to start it prior to What If, but then What If came up, and I really wanted to see that. But I'm going to start Doom Patrol. I have no idea what this is, what it's about. I'm assuming it's comic book related. I honestly don't know. In my Marvel videos, I've said that anything I know from comic books is from the movies. I don't read comics. Well, I did when I was little, but it was like Tales from the Crypt. That was my kind of thing. I wasn't really into the superhero stuff all that much. I have my assumptions, as I just said, but I don't know anything else about it. If it is comic book stuff, I don't know if it's Marvel or DC. I don't know who the heroes are, who the villains are. It could be something else entirely. It could be some neo-futuristic thing. Who knows? I don't know. But we're going to find out. I'm going to stop rambling on, and we're going to watch this and see what it's all about with episode 1 of Doom Patrol. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay. It's DC Universe, it said. Alan Tudyk. Matt Bomer. Brendan Fraser. Awesome. I love Alan Tudyk so much.
Ready for a story about superheroes?
Mm-hmm.
More TV superheroes, just what the world needs. Be honest.
Nice.
Ready to feel better about your own miserable lives for the next hour or so?
Yes.
Follow me. As such stories do, with a visit to a Nazi.
Are you ready, Mr. Morden? Ready! Repeat after me, please. The mind is the limit.
Smells like hero to me. Who's the fox?
Who's the fox?
Clara's crying. Really? Looks fine to me.
It's fine, honey.
Crash and die, babe.
I love you too, honey. We racing here, Bob?
Hell yeah.
What the fuck? I
Damn.
don't know what happened.
Cliff, this might be difficult to process. The world thinks you died in 1988.
I want to go home.
And then we need to take those expectations, we need to give them a gentle pat and flush them into the ocean.
What's that? Oh my God. No.
Wow.
Wheeling him around like a couple of pony kegs through his home we'll come to know as Doom Manor.
Sucks to be you.
Hey, what was it like getting buried in a pyramid with your cat?
A sense of humor helps here.
Air Force aviator, test pilot, shortlisted for the Mercury space program. An atomic age sex machine.
Hold on, there's something up here.
You're breaking it, Larry. Say again. Yep, repeat.
Hold on, stop!
Larry crawled from the wreckage that day, forever changed.
Sometimes it helps to picture a place you'd like to go.
How about up the frickin' steps?
Why go up the steps at all?
Critics, what do they know? They're gonna hate this show.
And action!
Dearest mother,
There you go. Like it's a lovely day, and you're...
Oh.
what are you staring at?
Oh.
My daughter's probably grown up without a father. My wife's probably moved on. But they deserve to know, and they can decide what to do with it. Thank you for everything you've done. But this isn't me.
Yeah, that's how you get it done, son.
Woo!
I'm gonna be better. I know it's late.
Hello?
Hey?
Watch the road. Watch the road. Watch the road.
Pancakes.
Yep.
I'm afraid you were the only survivor.
Where I hit, what I hit. I can't feel pain. That's mighty shitty of you, Doc.
Meet Jane. Some people call her Crazy Jane. 64 personas, each with its own special power.
She's in a mood.
Which one of her is in a mood?
What the fuck is that? Are you a toy?
Yeah, heard you the first time. Are you a raving douche?
Hello, Hammerhead. Good to see you.
Fuck off and die, Rita.
Anyone ever tell you to shut your fucking hole?
Or what?
I'll be back in a few days.
Bye, Dad.
There's a whole world out there waiting to be seen. But hasn't seen you in 60 years.
See what you're doing? Playing my ego? Don't say a word.
You look nice.
Of course I do.
Why isn't she melting?
I don't get it.
You said it was your daughter's birthday.
You know, it's crazy you even talk like her. You know her? Who? Rita Farr. Actress from the 50s. I don't know. Mostly I loved it because it meant I get to spend extra time with my dad. It's a tough time in our lives.
Tell me.
But my dad, no.
God.
Anything?
This is so awkward. I'm so like nervous for them.
Your father said Rita Farr was doing porn.
Full on.
Oh no. Oh no.
Larry knew they were staring at him, and yes, it bothered him, but not for reasons one might think. Felt like a monster long before he ever was one.
Yeah.
We got a good light here, Larry.
Hold on, there's something up here.
Larry.
Aww.
Larry, do you read?
He's alive! Get him back!
He's about to be like, what the fuck is going on?
What do we do?
Whoa.
No, we're not doing that.
Dang.
I want to go home.
We can do that.
You don't spend decades tap dancing on hornets' nests and not expect to be stung.
Fuck it. Shotgun.
Lovable losers banding together to become the superhero fighting force no one saw coming except everybody. But fear not.
Paraguay.
Yes, Niles. Paraguay.
So that was fucking weird. I'm gonna fall back to my didn't love it, Didn't hate it. But everything before but, yeah. But not quite what I was expecting, I guess. Like, I'll go on to episode 2, but I'm not really like gung-ho to do it. And again, I'm not familiar with the property. You know, I don't know. You know, if people are a fan of Doom Patrol as a comic, then you're probably loving this. But, and I definitely don't want to shit all over something you like. That's not the intent. But it's just not, at the moment, it's not vibing with me. I'm not like, oh man, let's go to the next one right now. I'm trying to process like what the actual shit is going on. So we had a pilot, a race car driver, an actress, and a brat that essentially become a robot, the Blob, Split, and a weird amalgamation of Rorschach and Captain Marvel. A little strange. I don't know how to react to this. I didn't know what to expect, obviously, but this kind of feels like janky X-Men. Maybe that's the point. They said they were like super zeros, not superheroes, you know, but they instead of being at the school for gifted people, they're in the Doom house. And I don't even have eye candy. Like, you take Matt Bomer, cover him up in freaking The Mummy, take Alan Tudyk, and you make him some really weird CGI. It didn't look very good, I'm sorry. It's not meant to be taken seriously, I get it. You know, let's go the things that I liked, because I feel like I'm being Mr. Downer here. I like the cast a lot. I like the narrator. I like how meta the narrator was being. That was appreciated. The humor for the most part was good. And then again, you have, you know, Brendan Fraser and Alan Tudyk, who are phenomenal as far as comedy goes. Timothy Dalton is always awesome. I liked him a lot in Penny Dreadful, so he's fantastic. I guess like it's your typical like origin story mashup pilot episode, but it feels so bizarre. I think that's what I'm having the hardest time with. Is I don't think I was expecting like a donkey to be farting words. You know, I'm curious and intrigued, but not wowed. But I definitely am not like against seeing the next one. I will. And maybe it'll get easier since I now know what to expect. But this definitely came out of left field for me. So it feels like a really strange Fantastic Four. Instead of, you know, stretchy guy, we have Blob. And instead of the Thing, we have Robot Guy. The one split personality. Woman can turn into Human Torch, so it would seem. That's one of her personalities. So they're very much a Fantastic Four kind of thing, rather than X-Men, I guess. But just them being at that house, you know, for gifted mutants. Was amused that Brendan Fraser's character was there from 1988 to like 2018, 30 years, but we never saw any new people other than Jane. That was strange. I think it's just the shock of how bizarre it is. And then from here on out, I will have a base to watch from. So I know what to expect from powers and personalities and tone and whatnot. Yeah, it's just weird. I'm gonna go to my notes now.
Philip's notes.
I haven't seen Brendan Fraser in anything in a while, so to see him for the first time in forever banging someone in like the pool house was fantastic. Fantastic reintroduction to the actor. Of course, he's a NASCAR like race driver, gets in an accident. We think he does, but not the one we thought. At first I'm like, welding? How did he get to welding? Like, because it was kind of like this weird thing. Now I understand that they saved his brain for whatever reason. I do like the play on words of the robot being named Cliff Steele. Talked about Larry. He was the closeted pilot. I can't imagine having to grow up in like the 50s like that. I won't get into a long rant about it, but whenever I see stuff like that, it just hurts my heart to know that people had to go through that. And we'll leave it at that. But he got Captain Marveled in space. Rita got something when she fell into the water. That was weird. As I said, I liked how self-aware the narrator was about the show. When he said they're going to hate this show, and talking about critics, that was really good. Once Cliff finds out that he killed his family, or so we thought. He's punching stuff and banging his head, and he says, "I can't feel pain. That's mighty shitty of you, Doc." Great line. Really good line. Then we meet Jane. She has 64 personalities, each with its own kind of power or thing. And then they're like, let's go into town. And immediately I get really tense and nervous. I wonder if anyone else out there is like that, where were you picked on and bullied a lot growing up, like I was? Whenever you see someone about to enter that kind of situation, it just immediately just like, you prepare, like you try and brace yourself for it because you know that feeling of being stared at and picked on and being uncomfortable and all that. It's just, you get transported back to that feeling back when you were like 16 or whatever, and just that feeling of dread and fear. And it just, yeah, so I was sitting in that for a while, worried about them. Then we talked about Larry. He was a closeted pilot, and he was getting his beer. They were talking about it wasn't the first time he felt like a monster. And that's shitty. You know, that's another personal experience thing I can imprint upon that character. I know what that's like, and it's not a good feeling. Now, granted, I wasn't brought up in the 50s, but I really don't think it matters when it comes to the hive mind and what they can get away with and make you believe. It was cool to see Matt Bomer again play this kind of character. We just saw him in American Horror Stories, which things are out of order from watching to uploaded to YouTube. We're done with American Horror Stories, but we're uploading Squid Game right now because I wanted to get that up first. So we have seen him already in American Horror Stories. And so it was cool to see him again. And I was wondering if he was going to play in any way a gay character. And he did, which, you know what? I'm always happy for any inclusion. So even though it is sad and unfortunate that these circumstances did and still do happen. So when they're in town, it all goes to shit. Rita turns into the Blob. And then Larry, the lightning thing, whatever, his Captain Marvelness escapes and starts just wreaking havoc around, around the town, power lines and such. Not sure what's going on there. And then Timothy Dalton says we need to leave. We need to leave. A donkey is coming. They try to leave, and then Jane says no. They turn around. They go back to Cliff and awkwardly start to stand off against bad CGI Alan Tudyk and a donkey that farts. I'm assuming that Alan Tudyk got pissed, I guess. Well, no, he even said he would have paid him double. I don't know. Is the not Nazi the donkey? Did he turn him into that? Out of anger or something? I don't know. Do I want to know? It's farting words. I don't know. Like, I get it's supposed to be quirky. And I'm not even saying it's too quirky or too different. This is going to take some time. Which might sound corny. It's like, it's just a show. You should really just relax. If you're new to something and it's not exactly what you expected and it's like an hour of what the fuck, you're going to need some time to process. So yeah. As said, I'll go on to episode 2. We'll see. We'll see how far I get into the season. I mean, if I'm like halfway through the season and I'm not digging it, I might just go to something else. But I did want to give it a fair shot. I'm not even saying I will. I'm just saying right now we'll see. That was the pilot. I can't judge an entire series on a pilot. And I think as of this recording, it's on 3 seasons now. So it's obviously been popular enough to go that far. So there has to be something there. I just need to try and watch enough to be invested. Because maybe I'm used to being invested right away on something. Especially with TV shows and stuff. I'm usually invested within the first episode. But granted, it could be like Doctor Who. I wasn't invested in Doctor Who at first either. So, gotta give it a shot. And I will. It was definitely different. And we'll see what happens in episode 2. That's going to wrap this one up. So as always, I don't have a fancy outro. So I'll simply say thank you for watching. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.